Hey Cameron,
Joe, how are you, man?
what's up? How you doing?
Doing excellent, brother. How about yourself?
I'm good, man. Nice to meet you.
Yes, sir. It's a pleasure, man. I appreciate you reaching out.
Yeah, you got a great name, man. Like Cameron Race. It just feels like you're ready to go, you know?
I appreciate that, my man.
I love it. So, it's great to meet you. Where are you located?
So I'm in just outside of Atlanta. I'm in Georgia.
Okay, right on. I'm in Kansas City, Missouri.
There you go.
So, I still remember the first time I left Florida about, oh, this has been 5 or 6 years ago, and I saw boiled peanuts for the first time. And I was like, are those peanuts wet? And it works. It's not something you see here. If peanuts get wet here, people throw them out. But down south, it's a
They
delicacy.
love
It's
them.
wet.
Yeah, yeah. So,
So
so you used to live in Florida?
no, no, no. I went down there for vacation and I was driving back to Kansas
Okay.
City and I was just going through the South. Hadn't spent much time down there. And I just saw this big cauldron of wet peanuts and I wondered what was going on.
Listen, there's some guys that do the boiled peanuts on the side of the road, and they make like six figures
Yeah.
just on the side of the road selling peanuts. I mean, it is. I've heard some people on podcasts and things that I mean they've made a fortune just off of roadside peanuts. It's
I have no
crazy.
doubt, man. There's so many things that people make money on that just blow me away. It's great. So,
Absolutely.
but man, it's great to meet you. I want to begin our conversation with living through the last 3.5 years. How did you survive the pandemic and how did it change you?
Yeah, listen, so I was working for a bank. I was a commercial lender, and I was a relationship manager. Within that role, my job really was to, take care of clients, and so that was a role that really allowed me a lot of flexibility. So for me, I was working from home a good bit already, but when the pandemic hit, it was everybody went to working from home. In the banking industry, it was really tough, lots of long hours. We were doing PPP loans for, small business owners. And so, it was kind of a shock for me whenever the pandemic first hit, because I went from, working a very stable kind of 40-hour type job to, working 16-hour days, 6, 7 days a week. And so, that was a real shock to the system. I've learned to get back into some old hobbies that I had had. I picked up golf again for the first time since I was a kid, and just allowed me to get focused on some things that I kind of lost sight of. Just through the hustle and bustle of what is normal life.
Yeah. So you've obviously had some shifts in your career. If
Yep.
I put you in front of a third grade class for career day and one of the kids was curious and asked you, what do you do for a living? How would you answer that child?
Yeah, so it's a great question. It's one that has changed, very recently for me. Again, I spent the last 6 years as a banker, but really now what my focus is to share my story and to help to inspire other people to live their best life and to be their best selves.
So what did you want to be in the third grade? What was your dream to grow up and become?
Do you know what? I'm not sure, right? I mean, it was when I was a kid, I loved sports.
Yeah.
Just like other kids, I loved fast cars and things of that nature. But I don't know if I knew an exact thing that I wanted to be. I know I always looked up to entrepreneurs in my life. So my grandfather was an entrepreneur, my dad, my uncle, and so I'm not sure if there was a specific thing that I wanted at that point in time, but certainly, entrepreneurship and those are the kinds of people that I looked up to. And so, owning my own business and helping other people.
So let's go back to where you were born and raised. Talk to me a little bit about some of these seeds that were put into you to not only be an entrepreneur, but to also want to help others.
Yeah, sure. So, again, grew up in a family of entrepreneurs. My dad owns a machine shop still to this day. And so, from a really young age, he put me to work, not just in the shop, but around the house. And, so I learned the value of hard work, working when I didn't even want to. When you're a kid, you want to play video games. And, my dad had me, down in the basement cutting up little parts and pieces to assemble things for his clients and customers. And so, from a young age, really, he instilled that in me, and he had some tough love that at the time, as a kid, as a teenager, I really resented. But the older that I get, now that I'm a father, I realize that really it was just love that he was sharing with me. The world can be a really tough place. And I think that it's a dad's job to try to prepare their sons, especially for what is the reality to come. And that's that you have to work hard to get what you want in life. You know, Again, the kind of the selflessness, my father was extremely selfless with his time for my family and I, right? Again, you don't recognize it at the time, but I've adopted now in my life, most recently, a really early wake up time. And I think back to my childhood, and there were times where my dad got up at 1:30, 2:30, 3:30 in the morning and would go into work, and he wouldn't come back until after dark. And so, he always put our family first. And for me in an age of social media, my message, I can spread it, beyond just my family and my immediate surroundings. And so again, my goal is to try to help other people, in the larger, vast world.
So talk to me a little bit about who's a hero, who has been the inspiration for you in your life.
Yeah, so I think I draw inspiration from a lot of different places. Again, dialing in on my family. So I have an 18-month-year-old son, and then my wife is pregnant with baby number two. And so again, this is a chapter in my life where I'm a parent. And so, really reflecting back on the childhood that my parents gave me. I mean, they were a huge driving force as to who I've become. And frankly, there were a number of years there where I really feel as though I lost kind of my place and kind of drifted away from where I should have been, who I've now become today, and really the foundation that I was given. But again, just to have a loving family, people that you can lean on, that are supportive of you, I think that's paramount to to most anybody else that's been involved in my life. Certainly, there have been other mentors and people that have helped guide me. But again, I think family is the core.
So at the end of the day, if you could meet one person alive on the planet that inspires you today, who would you love to meet and talk to?
Yeah, so that's it's a deep question. One person alive today. Um, you catch me off guard with that one. It's one that I haven't thought about recently, that I haven't spent much time thinking about. So, I've got a mentor right now. His name's Wes Watson. He kind of, helped me snap out of a reality that I was living in. Certainly someone that I know that I'm going to meet, but that's somebody that I'm looking forward to. He really tells hard truths. He's a tough individual, but I think that now we live in an age where people try to avoid, hard things and lean into what is easy. And there's nothing soft about this guy. He will tell it to you straight. And I really think that resonated with me. Me adopting this early wake up time, when I miss that wake up time, it's not me being really soft on myself and telling me, hey, it's okay, try better tomorrow. I mean, I'm in the mirror telling myself, you're a bitch and you need to, really straighten it up, and so, that's resonated with me lately, and somebody that I look forward to shaking hands with and, learning more from.
So at the end of the day, you're out there helping people. What is your motivation every day to get up? You get up early, you have all of these things that you want to do to help others, but to also evolve as yourself. What is that motivation for you?
Yeah, so really it's been, the antithesis of it is my son, my family. So about around the time that we found out that my wife was pregnant, I stopped smoking weed. That's something that I had done since I was a teenager. And then the day that my son was born, I stopped all nicotine products. And then he's also helped me to get into shape. He just inspires me to want to be the best version of myself. again, I think that there are a lot of men that are lost in this world. And so if I want my son to be a great human being, to provide value to the world, I think that it's my job, that it's something that I have to do is to be a role model for him and to show him, the right way to live and how wonderful it can feel if you do devote your life to that. So above all else, it's been being a father, and I'm really excited for baby number two to come. We don't know what we're having. We're those crazy people that we find out when the baby comes out. But yeah, I mean, it's been an incredible journey. And to be frank with you, for years and years, I'd tell people I don't know if I even want children. I'm the most selfish individual. I just did not want to I didn't want to think about living for somebody else, and now I cannot imagine not living for somebody else.
It's funny you mentioned the smoking thing. I was just talking in another interview to somebody about quitting right before my son was born. He's 19 now. And
Okay.
and part of it was just seeing how disappointed my dad was that we were smoking. But he smoked, you just kind of learn all of this and it gets passed on. But yeah, man, when you can start doing things for somebody else, it's pretty cool, man, for
It
sure.
is massive. Absolutely.
Yeah.
You still
So
you still a non-smoker? Still
yeah,
still holding it down?
I'm out. Yeah, I quit and he was born in '05. I quit in '04. It was one of the hardest things I ever did. But yeah, I don't even have any kind of temptations. Now, my dad told me that he had a dream every single night after he quit for like 20 years of smoking in his dream. He
Oh
loved it that
wow.
much. He didn't ever picked it back up, but he had dreams. But for me, it's like, yeah, I don't even want. No, I'm good.
That's
So,
excellent. I love to
yeah,
hear it.
it's a good thing. So, what's been one of your best success stories?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's been this slow journey. I think that I'm living my best success story, and that's that, as a teenager, I really lost my way. I started doing drugs. I started selling marijuana. I did that from 16 to 22. I kind of pulled myself out of that. Thought that I was going to go and run my dad's business and ended up taking that over. It just wasn't in the cards. Went to college, which I had dropped out of. Went to work for a large corporation because I grew up working for small business and I wanted to learn about, large organizations, how they operate. They're very systematic in the things in their approach to how they do things. And it's just been this journey of continued growth, right? I left that company, went and worked for the bank. I was a relationship manager. I fell into something that I really enjoyed. I saw a lot of success over the 6 years that I dedicated my life to that. And then, I lost my job at the end of August. Banking is, with the high interest rates, they completely got rid of the department that I was in, sent me out the door with a package. And as I was interviewing for the next opportunity, I started reflecting on myself a lot. Interview process takes, a month or so. It's generally not a quick thing. And so, in that time, I adopted this early morning wake up. I started reading, digesting a lot of motivational thoughts and quotes and listening to podcasts. And then I started journaling a lot and, started working out and adding fitness to my life. And just, I focused so much in the past on how well I was able to generate money, how well I did in my career. That's what I tied a lot of my, success to, at least in my mind, what I thought was successful. And, it was a shock. We found out on a Wednesday that my wife was pregnant with baby number two. And then the following Monday, I lost my job. And so it was just kind of the perfect storm of things that happened in my life to really flip a switch. And through that interview process, again, I got a lot of clarity. And interviewers would always ask me, where do you see yourself in the next 10 years? And I'd always say, owning my own business and owning real estate. And that's been the same response, the bottled response that I'd have for 5 years. And so finally deciding that I want to take a leap of faith and pursue something on my own, which is what I'm doing now. And again, right now, it's really just telling my story. I think the path illuminates as you walk it. You don't necessarily have to have all the answers day one when you start. I think that imperfect action is better than no action at all. And so, I'm most proud of, again, where I'm at right now. But it's been years, decades of getting to where I'm at. So
So you had mentioned you were a sports fan. If you could go back in time and see any game with your own eyes, where are you going to go?
yeah, that's let's see. Where my mind goes is a game that I was at. So I was a soccer player growing up. Atlanta adopted we have the Atlanta United
Yep.
uh, and football club, and so I was there in the first season that we were in the new stadium. I was a season ticket holder. I was there for every home game with a buddy of mine, and ended up seeing us clinch. Which is the first time that Atlanta had clinched a championship in a long time. The Falcons still have yet to do it right after Atlanta United did. The Braves won, and
Yeah.
so I'd say as a born and raised person of Georgia, that was huge.
Yeah. Yeah. That's cool. So let's say you have a dream tonight. You run into the high school senior version of you, 18 years old, and you can give that version of you a piece of advice based on the life you've led, the wisdom you've gained. What advice would you give your younger self?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is just don't get so wrapped up in the being susceptible. Don't tie your worth to money. Again, for so long, the decisions that I made, especially around my career, were around what made me the most money. And I think spending more time going inward in a society now where we're pushed with social media and TV, there's so many things where I think our brain is just flooded with outside influence. And so, getting back and spending time going inward has been key to me. And I think that to my younger self, that would save a lot of spent time going in directions where certainly there's learning and there's growth there. But I really wonder if I had really dialed in, years ago, where would I be today?
Yeah. So Cameron, everybody has a perception of you, family, friends, clients, colleagues, but you're in control. You run the show. What's your perception of you? Who do you think you are?
Yeah, listen, you know, I think that I'm turning into one hell of an individual. Again, it's through daily action. I don't think that everyone has that level of confidence, but I'm doing things that I know my old self would not have done. And so, I would urge everybody to adopt, daily habits that instill worth and confidence in themselves, because everyone should have that level of confidence. I think that it's only with that level of confidence that you can really offer the world your best self, and I think that's what everyone deserves, and I think that resonates with people.
Very well said. So if anyone wants to reach out, people are inspired, they want to hire you, they want to learn more, where do they go?
Yeah, so I'm on Instagram. Best place to follow me, it's Cameron_race. That's CAMERON_race, RACE. That's on Instagram.
Right on. Cameron Race, man, congratulations on #2. Have a great holiday season. Enjoy it, man.
Joe, I appreciate your time, man. Happy holidays to you.
Yes, sir. Take care.